Hi, and welcome to Finest Women in Real Estate. My name is Elise Dufresne. I am the CEO of the network that we're on right now. And I have a wonderful show for you today. I'm going to be hosting some of our hosts, featured agents, and new TV show hosts as well. We're going to be talking about some of the things that in this industry benefit an agent or a broker, or in some cases an attorney, or anyone related to the real estate industry, about how it benefits them to be on TV. And in the case of our guests, what the purpose that brought them here was to this point, and what they hope to accomplish, some of the benefits that they've recognized in being involved, and also some of their successes. So having said that, today our guests are Rachel LaMar, who is a broker and an attorney, kind of an amazing combination, wonderful combination for anyone she represents, I'm sure, with that added attorney and legal expertise. She is the owner of LaMar Real Estate Incorporated. Welcome, Rachel. Thank you. We have to her left Kimberly Whitfield, the co-founder of Solar Brokers and also TV host for this very show as well. Then last we have Lyndell Werling, who is a personal stylist and a TV host for this show as well. So, very nerve-wracking hosting the hosts, but I'm sure we'll do well today. So, first, ladies, what I'd like to talk about individually for each of you is what is the process that brought you to this point, and what is your purpose for being involved with Finest Women in Real Estate and EANTV? And we'll start with Rachel.
Great. I think what brought me to this point was just meeting the right people, and I love having been on the show and being on the show because I've met some phenomenal women. Women that I don't know I would have met otherwise, and just the things that they've accomplished and that are just inspiring. So I love being surrounded by women like that, smart women who are just go-getters, and that's been wonderful. I think, well, I guess, yeah, and I'm sorry, what else did you ask besides?
What do you hope to accomplish by being involved?
Yeah, so I think it just to get some information out there for people is really this is a great place to do that, and especially not only to buyers and sellers but also to agents as well, because it's a big industry, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement all the time. So
definitely, I think everyone could agree, right? Every industry can improve.
Every industry.
It's wonderful to have the outlet to be able to do your part. And what about you, Kimberly? What brought you to this point?
Well, thank you, Elise.
Absolutely.
What brought me here was initially just being a guest on the show, just to educate people about solar and renewable energy, and hoping to expand my business in that way and create visibility, which it did. Mm-hmm. And then it led me to becoming a host of the show, which has been an amazing experience, and I get to be in the room and in great energy with amazing people like you all. And then my purpose, well, initially was just to create visibility, but now, I get to start my own show after having the experience and just bring awareness and knowledge and just information that I'm super passionate about to the viewers.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. And what a new technology that's really kind of burgeoning and just kind of blowing up, right? Solar, really, especially in California. Lyndell, what about you?
Thank you for the question. I got involved with the Finest Women in Real Estate because, by way of background, before becoming a wardrobe stylist, I was a real estate broker. I actually still am here and in Utah. And I realized really quickly when I started my business that I wanted to help women, entrepreneurial women, to look their best, to have a brand and image that really differentiated them. And that's why I came on the show. I wanted to differentiate myself and really get into what can be done to enrich women that are in the real estate industry. It's a tough industry. It's a tough marketplace.
Definitely.
And when you look good and you feel well, I think that you perform better and you're more successful. So that was the initial way that I became involved. And then I also do sports blogging on the side, which surprises a lot of people. I'm actually very passionate about sports.
And so,
right, I decided that this would be good to get me outside of my comfort zone, to get more comfortable in front of the camera, and then to really move that aspect of what I do forward as well.
Wow, yeah, you would never have known, right?
Right.
What an interesting repertoire and history.
Thank you.
Well, I think that, certainly for everyone who brought themselves to this point, here today, I can say for myself at least that my process I have a varied background in so many different things, one of them being, TV, another one being political consulting. I myself was an actress and a model for many years and worked in the legal field for some period of time. So I bring kind of a different sort of, background to what we're doing, but it's certainly an interesting medium to be in nowadays, and specifically with regard to the network and the mechanisms that we use to broadcast. It's the fastest growing field now, and you can reach so many people, and so it's really wonderful to have that vehicle to accomplish your purpose and to accomplish what you're trying to do. So I know that you're also working on an education program platform that you're wanting to bring out as well, just another way that you can reach people and kind of change your industry. I want to tell us just a tiny bit about that.
Sure. I have always been a big proponent of education in any way, shape, or form, especially when it can better something or someone. So I feel that there are some great strides we can take in the real estate industry that won't cost a lot of money and that will help make it a better work environment for people, better protection legally for buyers and sellers, and just all around, hopefully, inviting fewer lawsuits and
Wouldn't
a
that be wonderful?
better place. So yes.
Yes, fewer lawsuits makes the world a better place. I think most people would agree. So I still find your background interesting. I really want to maybe, if you could talk a little bit more about how your legal background has kind of informed your real estate practice and how that might differentiate you from other agents in a way that you can actually provide more expertise, this type of education for people.
Right. Well, as you know, as everyone knows, when you purchase a home or sell a home, it's a legal transaction, so we use contracts. And a lot of people in the industry, I find, either I don't know if they haven't read them or don't understand them, or just not proofreading what they write when they fill them out. So I feel that it's very important to understand that there are ramifications if you don't do those things, if you don't understand the contracts, and then you don't at least proofread the contracts before you send them out. So I think I have a little bit of a different perspective on that because of my training.
Absolutely,
so I have quite a few investor clients, and they love the fact, because for them it's not an emotional decision, it's more of a financial and business decision. So the fact that I can see things from that perspective. So I think in any way, being an attorney definitely helps my clients, yeah.
Absolutely, and also kind of gives you that added edge to be able to teach, right? And
Yes.
from a more, I guess, full perspective. Because a lot of people that may work on contracts but don't have the legal expertise don't have that fundamental understanding of the contractual DNA, so to speak. And so it's a really interesting place to come from, I think. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have prepared for us. And Kimberly, do you want to talk about maybe the process of, so you came in as a guest, right? Became a host, and now you're going to have your own TV show. So why don't you talk to us about kind of the process that you go through as someone from outside that may want to come in and start the process themselves, or just what you've been through?
So, the exciting thing for me is that I get to see it all from the other side of it, right? Coming in and being a host, you don't see any of that stuff, but going out and having your own show, there's a lot of pieces to it, and especially because the show is going to be about, awakening consumers to their purchasing power and how they can make little shifts in their lives, be it at home, be it in the office, just what they drive, how they get their energy, everything, what little changes they can make to make a big impact not only on their lives but on the world. And so part of that is finding the companies and vetting them and researching and making sure that it truly is good for the planet, truly is good for the body if it's a health product or water, whatever it is. So there's a lot to it. It's exciting. I love learning about the process, and I'm just really excited to be able to educate consumers through having the experience of my own show.
Yeah, I think most people don't realize how fine-tuning some little things in your life can just kind of change the whole thing, right? And that's really good. I'm excited to hear what you've got coming too. And Lyndell, we will get to you, but right now we're going to take a break for a moment. Please don't go away. We have so many more exciting things to talk about. For instance, the benefits that these ladies have seen from being involved in the network and their own TV shows, as well as some of their successes. Thank you.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I groomed the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hi, and welcome back to Finest Women in Real Estate. I'm your host for today, Elise Dufresne. In this segment, we're going to talk about the benefits of being on TV, having your own TV show, hosting a TV show, all of the wonderful benefits that you would experience in this field by being involved in a project or something like this. And what we're going to do is start with Rachel again. And Rachel, can you please tell us some of the benefits that being a featured agent on our TV show on our network actually provides you for your purpose? And
Sure. I think the best benefit for me, aside from meeting so many wonderful people, is just having a platform where I can share a lot of information. I've been blogging for so many years, but I think this is going to be so much bigger than that. And I love the fact that I can share tidbits and ideas with other agents and with buyers and sellers. So that's what I hope to gain from this.
there is something really wonderful about teaching, I know, and sharing what you know. It's almost a part of personal growth in a way, and provides so much satisfaction that just doing your regular job doesn't provide. So, and reaching a wider audience and so many people on a TV audience as opposed to just a social media audience or even like a YouTube audience. I mean, we're on TV, right? So it's a definite different level of education and content, and it's really wonderful to be able to share with that, I'm sure, that audience. How about you, Kimberly?
So I think some of the greatest benefit that I've had for being a part of the Finest Women in Real Estate is really the growth. I mean, the experience that I've had that I don't think I ever would have had, the credibility that's helped to create for me, and of course, moving into having my own show. The show is for the people, but I wouldn't be able to deliver and be excited and have all because I've been a researcher forever. I research everything that I put in my body, everything that I use. So like being able to give that to the world, I wouldn't be able to do that unless I had the experience. And coming in as a guest and then a host and then now hosting my own show, I mean, that's something I never would have planned out for myself. Just being a part of it is the world is your oyster.
Yeah, that trajectory is wonderful. I almost wish I could have started there as opposed to being thrown in here, host today. It's been years since I've been behind the camera or in front of the camera, I guess you could say. So I can attest to that personal growth. I would love to see myself growing very quickly right now of that trajectory. And I'm coming to you for that, Lyndell. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you've benefited from this process?
You're absolutely right. It's so much easier to sit in this seat than it is to be
Yes,
where you
I
are.
can tell.
And when I started to host these shows, I needed to get a media coach because there is a skill and an art to it. There is a right and there is a wrong way to approach it. And it's definitely baptism by fire. You can only learn. The experience is the lesson. The teacher is actually doing it. So for me, I know that I've grown. Public speaking is scary, and it's something that we really need to now do because the world has moved to a video and to a social media platform. So that preparedness and the expertise only come with actually doing it. And the greatest benefit for me has been to be able to take part in other TV shows. And all the local channels, I've now been able to get onto those. I've differentiated myself, as you referenced, from my competition. Styling can feel a little bit like a specialty, a little bit like a commodity, but actually having the experience of being behind the camera and in front of the camera really propels me to be able to get the credibility of my clients in order to let them trust me with their image. And the greatest benefit is getting on some national programs, and I was able to do that last month. And it came because of the practice. It came because of taking the time to develop the skills, and being able to get on Face the Truth with Vivica Fox was really evidence that all of this works and all of it was worthwhile, and that we should push ourselves way outside our comfort zone, because that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, so in your case, definitely the proof is in the pudding, right? And that does give that additional credibility. I can say from the years that I was in front of the camera as an actress and a model and various other things, it gave me that same perspective to be able to inform my clients as a consultant when they go on TV, when they go on appearances, when they have to speak, even to reporters, which can also be nerve-wracking if it's not, even for print, even if you're not on camera. There are a lot of different nerves and a lot of different tics and a lot of different mistakes and everything, and like I can feel myself making them like right now probably. So it's that perspective that you've had, that experience, and even now as you grow in it, I'm sure we all grow, right? We never stop growing, will help you and has helped you then to give your clients that added sort of, like with the law, just a full perspective, it's a full comprehensive perspective of what it's like.
Yes.
And you know, the other thing that I can think about from just, you know, what you're saying in terms of your image and how you know, project yourself and how you deal with people in your everyday, like being on camera is certainly will give you, you know, that added confidence, because a everyday conversation is not as nerve-wracking, right? It's not as like, oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up in live film. So it's definitely nice to have that prep. So I'm talking about, like, I mean, smoothing the hair, you know, talking about your talking points. I mean, everything. It's really wonderful to have that as someone who speaks. And so for you to have that, that background and be able to know exactly what works on camera for you, and, you know, even down to like lipstick shade. It's kind of amazing to have someone who can just tweak you and you know, make you a better person, because it does matter. It does. And I think that's really important as well. So from the perspective of, you know, what your benefits have been on this project, that as you've been involved in this, what do you think will happen with the education side of things when you start to discuss your platform, your education platform, and so forth? How do you feel like that will benefit you in terms of, you've developed it, right? You want to bring it out, you want to show people, you want to share, they want to change things.
Well, hopefully it can make the industry a better place to work, and you know, if it brings me some other clients, that'd be great. But I really want it to go more above that and just help to make some positive differences in the industry.
Yeah. What kind of positive differences? What would make you happy, satisfy you in that sense, that you saw that it changed and you felt like it was an accomplishment? I think changing the way that people get into the industry, tweaking the exam a little bit, tweaking education requirements a little bit, those kinds of things would just, and I have a whole plethora of other examples which would take too long to go into, but I think that those kinds of things are really going to make it a better industry, and make people within the industry stronger as well. So yeah, and just speaking of strong, because of your background, I mean, I'm sure you view the regulations and the laws differently than the rest of us might, because it's almost like going into is it the green screen or the black screen on the computer? You know, you're messing with the code, and so you can, I'm sure you really look at the law like, oh, it could be this. It's not right like this. This is how we can make it better. And you have both the experience of being able to do that, you know, being able to really interpret and see what the law actually means and how it's applied, as well as seeing how on the ground it's applied in the industry, in the business. So you can see, like, you have that double edge where you can be like, oh, I understand, I can see how it could change, and I know what it would look like on the ground if it did. And so that's you can also probably follow through the process to change it, I would imagine. Because there are a lot of, I mean, some of those processes for changing laws and regulations are a little bit ambiguous, or, you know, for most people. But coming from a legal background, you might have that edge to be able to actually implement the change if you wanted to. Not might, I'm sure you do, be able to implement certain processes so you could change it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe I could seek your help because it's all very political. So.
Absolutely, yes. It is very political, which is what I'm saying. I know exactly how you get there. And so certainly having a legal background would be helpful, and in both forming the new regulations as well as understanding, you know, a legal process is almost a political process anymore. So yeah, it would certainly help. And And Kimberly, from the perspective of all that research that you're doing, I have done so much research in my life. It's like one of my favorite things in the whole world. There's so many things to learn, and the process of continual learning is one of like personal and continual growth, right?
Yeah.
There's so many aspects of life that it's like, how can you catch up on everything on your own? It'd be so amazing to have the researchers just share the wonderful points that they've come across, you know, in a way that you can understand, so you have to read through the 15-page journals. Just have someone extrapolate that and be like, okay, now this is what's good and this is why. And so for a consumer, myself being one, I'm sure I can really appreciate that, as well as a researcher, knowing what it takes to get to those places where you've got a point that you can act on, right? Wonderful. Well, all very, very interesting insights and interesting stories. And so we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back after this to talk about some more of the more concrete successes that both ladies or all three ladies have experienced in their endeavor here at the network.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
First time I tried biking, and it was laying around my mom's house. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hi, and welcome back to Finest Women of Real Estate. I'm Elise Dufresne, your host for today, and we are in our final segment. We're going to discuss some of the successes that these ladies have had in their endeavors here at the network, and then take a look at some of our sponsors and how you can get involved if you're interested in being a TV host, having your own show, or just being a guest, or even just checking it out here at the studios. I'm going to go this time to Lyndell first, and we'll talk about some of the successes you've had since you've come on board as a TV show host, and what to kind of expect as far as like how the successes, you know, grow and kind of build on one another as you go.
Thank you. Yes, there's so many. And in life, you have to put yourself in a position to succeed, and being vulnerable and learning a new skill like hosting a TV show, or even for some people being a guest on a show, can be really uncomfortable. So I've had that benefit of learning something new and having the feeling of I need to do better. My first episode I didn't feel was that great, and now I feel like I'm more in the comfort zone of what it takes, and I had to seek out the right people to help me to get there. So that experience in life can be applied really anywhere. And I think the other aspect is I had really wanted to differentiate myself from some of the other wardrobe stylists. And I think that this has been able to really do that for me, because I do more than put clothes together for people. I give them an image, and I give them the ability to feel better and have success in their business. It's been my experience that people want to impress others when they are in an entrepreneurial role, and real estate certainly is that. So that has happened for me as well. And then lastly, just in terms of where do you go from here, getting other speaking opportunities, getting the opportunity to meet more people, which I know you had referenced, Rachel, is really huge. Being around people that have high energy and success, it brings it into your world. So you want to surround yourself with powerful women and men. And because I intend to be in the real estate industry, at least in this capacity for quite some time, this has opened up the opportunity to stay very involved and to be visible.
Yeah, certainly the exposure is amazing, but it sounds like not just your exposure to an audience, but also your personal exposure to the people that you meet, and the sort of interactions that you have on a personal level are rewarding as well.
Yes, that's true. And in terms of learning about where to go from there, I've been able to get onto other TV shows and get into the opportunity to be in some commercials and some other work, because on my website now and on social media, people see that I know how to do it. And so that is a really huge way to expand my personal brand, which, you know, in general, you don't really want to go out into life looking about me, me, me. I wanted to do this to enrich myself, but also for others around me. So that has happened, and it's been nice that it's been able to touch more than just myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just on the selfish note, it's more than yourself, right? You're the image of your business. So it's good to think of yourself, and you want to look good and you want to feel nice and as the face of your business, right?
Yes.
So in that way, it's kind of, I feel like it would be good to be selfish at least, in a good way, way. And that's certainly many benefits to yourself and your clients. And I can say from like, let's say, okay, so I've done, you know, whatever, so many different things, movies, music, videos, like so many different things. I've actually never hosted a show. I've been a guest many times on like, I don't even know how many shows. So there are different roles that you play, and each one's different, right? And being in those different roles, as you've described, on other TV shows and so forth, commercials and all that, you're able to then give that added expertise as well and build that repertoire for yourself.
True.
And thank you. And what about you, Kimberly?
So I love what Lyndell said about just being vulnerable and being able to just put yourself out there and learn through the experience. And so I've really found that the success for me has been in the process and the growth. And, you know, of course, coming from a place where I didn't even expect to be doing what I'm doing now, and the experience being that, you know, eventually I do expect to be able to be more visible, and having had the experience being visible, but having the show now, being able to bring that, having had the experience, just the trajectory and, you know, the expectation of the sky's the limit for me, and it could be for anybody else, just going out there, taking that first step, being vulnerable, and who knows where that could lead. But the experience is key.
It's funny because I can really personally attest to everything we're saying here today. There is a vulnerability about stepping out of your comfort zone and really taking over a role that you haven't been in before, especially if you're used to a different role, like for instance I am, being on the business end. And you know, it's been a long time since I've been in front of the camera, so you can really feel yourself like being vulnerable and moving through the motions, but then growing at the same time, right? Like you become more comfortable, and then but I'm still coming to someone for some tweaks eventually. What do you think, Rachel?
I agree with what both of them said, and definitely there's growth in the process, and I think that's the best part. So
absolutely, absolutely. Growth personally and business-wise, hopefully as well. Certainly being involved in a TV show, or having your own TV show, or in any way, you know, taking it to that next level is above and beyond what many people are able to do. And so it's really great to see you ladies growing all different ways in this capacity and the influence you're having on our audience. And just want to thank you so much for that. And thank you for coming today and sharing as well. And with that will end our show today. We want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Fire Up Connect, and also, as I promised in the beginning, refer you to finestwomaninrealestate.com if you're interested at all in becoming involved as a real estate agent, even if you're a comedian or anything that you've got going on in your life that you want to share with people. Please don't hesitate to reach out, and there's a process on the website, and we'd love to hear from you. Please also visit Finest Women in Real Estate on all the social media and follow, click, and see what's coming up, what's new, and all the exciting things happening here at the network and with Finest Women in Real Estate and our other shows. I also want to just let you know that this show is available on Amazon Fire TV and Roku 24/7 on demand. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.